about that. We would be developing our AR first AR application, because on day two I'm going to teach you about the very basics of the SDK, and on day three we are going to create our own AR project, that is an AR book, or that you can later on uh, extend the project and also launch it on Play Store so that you can earn from it. All right. And on the fourth day, we are going to build our AR filters. And on the fifth day, we are going to create a major project. All right. So I would tell you about the project later on. All right. It's a really beautiful project. You would really like to create that one. So yeah, it's a surprise. So without any further ado, let's begin. All right. So what is extended reality? All right, see, you can say, all right, extended reality is the roof. All right, extended reality is the roof of the three other realities. All right, extended reality is the house, and in that house lives three other realities, that is augmented, virtual, and mixed reality. All right, just like just like under artificial intelligence there is machine learning, there is computer vision, and all those things. All right, just like that, extended reality is the main domain, and it has three subdomains: augmented, virtual, and mixed reality. Just as simple as that. And I wanted to ask you guys, all right, how many of you are into machine learning and computer vision, or more specifically computer vision? You can write it in the chats. How many of you are in there, in the domain of computer vision? Are any of you in the domain of computer vision or machine learning? Because augmented reality, all right, if computer vision wouldn't have been there, augmented reality wouldn't have been possible. All right, because the very root, all right, the very root of augmented reality starts from computer vision only, and that's why nowadays I'm learning machine learning and computer vision, just to get a more brief understanding of the technology. And I also want to develop my own SDK, so that's why I'm preparing my computer vision skills. So if any of you have experience with computer vision, then I'm sure you are going to love extended reality. And if you also don't have any experience, it's actually not necessary to have understanding of computer vision in the beginning. All right, even if you are a professional XR developer, you don't need the understanding of computer vision. But if you want to develop your own SDKs, all right, then you need understanding of machine learning and computer vision, because there are a lot of things like depth estimation, uh, segmentation, environment segmentation. So all those things are there if you want to develop your own SDK. All right. So first of all, what is augmented reality, right? How many of you have played the game Pokemon Go? Because Pokemon Go one was one of the games. I think it was released in 2016. Actually, it was the first game, I guess, which had augmented reality. Means uh, I hope you have played that game, because whenever you see a Pokemon, all right, you can catch that Pokemon, right? As you can see in here, and there was an option to open the back camera, right? To open the phone's camera, and what it will do is a Pokemon will be there in your house, and you can throw the ball at it. It would give a more immersive and real world experience, right? I'm sorry. So yeah, it would give you a more real world and means more immersive experience, right? So it was an wasn't fully an augmented reality game, all right, but there was some elements of augmented reality, all right, because that game wasn't fully augmented reality. It had both 3D and augmented reality. The augmented reality was only there when you were to catch a Pokemon. So that's where we found augmented reality. And there's been a misconception in the market for a long time that Pokemon Go was the biggest AR app. Like it was the biggest of all AR app, but that's not the true. That's not true, because nowadays, if you want to make that mechanics, all right, make that Pokemon mechanics, it's pretty simple. You can if you have experience, you can create that in like let's say 30 minutes you can create that whole mechanics. Yeah, not the whole map and location stuff, but here you can see the catching part. You can create it in 30 minutes. So of course that isn't a very big uh, addition to the game, but it's an augmented reality feature. So that's why I put this as an example. All right. If I had to see, first of all, don't read this definition now. All right. It would give you, like, it will confuse you. All right. Even after so many years of like developing AR apps, when I first read this definition, even I was confused. Like, it has a hell lot of jargons. So if I had to explain augmented reality in a very simple way, I would say that a digital object, all right, a digital object can be anything, all right, anything. It can be a 3D object or a 2D object, all right. A digital object being placed in the real world, all right, that is what augmented reality is. With augmented reality, what we can do, let's say there is some digital object, let's say my favorite cartoon, all right. Many years ago, my Doraemon was one of my favorite cartoons. Of course, I don't watch it now, but many years ago it was one of my favorite cartoons. So maybe if that time I knew about augmented reality, I knew about development, I could have created that one. But let's say uh, it choose any of your favorite character, all right, choose any of your favorite character, and let's say you developed, all right, you developed your very first AR application. And what it does, it, all right, it places that digital object into the real world. All right. Or if I had to add a small amount of jargon, I would say that app is augmenting. All right. That app is augmenting the digital object into the real world. That's what it is doing. All right. As simple as that. It AR is doing nothing but just augmenting that 3D object into the real world. All right. So that's what it is doing. Like, if I had to take an example, I would try, I want you to try, all right, after this session, I want you to try two of the apps, all right, that is Pokemon Go and AR Lupa. Both are available on the Play Store. If your phone supports AR Core, all right, if your phone supports AR Core, I also want you to try IKEA Place. All right. I would get into what is AR Core. All right, I will get into that, but want you to try at least Pokemon Go and AR Lupa, because these two apps will work on every devices. But IKEA Place will only work on the devices which supports AR Core. And if you want to check if your device is supported by AR Core or not, what I want you is to AR Core, go to this link. All right, I'm providing you the link. You can try to find your mobile model in there. All right, if it is in there, if your mobile phone's model is in there, then your phone supports AR code and you are good to try out IKEA Place. All right, cool. Hmm. So if I had to make you understand this definition, what it would be, let's try it out. Augmented reality is an interactive experience of a real world environment where the objects that reside in real world are enhanced by computer generated perceptual information, sometimes across multiple sensory modalities, including visual, auditory, haptic, somatosensory, and olfactory. Pretty confusing, right? But it says that a digital object is being augmented. All right, a digital object is being placed a digital object is being placed into the real world. You can see it has been told that reside in the real world are enhanced by computer generated perceptual information. Full of jargons, but this is what it tells. All right, and it is also telling that it ticks, or what, I am not able to find the right word, but it also says it affects our visual, auditory, haptic, somatosensory, and olfactory sensors, but in a good way. All right, it makes us feel that it is real. That is what augmented reality is. All right, and before going to a types of augmented reality, just tell me, if you are clear about the concept or not. All right. Just let me know you are clear about the concept or not. Write it in the chat, then I will begin with the other topics. All right. If you are able to understand the concept, then just write yes. Or, okay, great. So if you have any other doubts, all right, if you have any other doubts, then feel free to ask it. All right. And so yeah, that's really great. I might sound a bit off. Actually, I'm not well really, but let's keep this going. All right. So yeah, uh, I hope this augmented reality concept is very clear. Now, here comes the more interesting part. All right. Here comes the more interesting part. Types of augmented reality. All right. See, if I had to say what are two types of augmented reality, majorly, there are majorly two types, marker based and markerless. If I talk about markerless, then inside of that markerless, there are many other like location based, projection based, outlining AR. All right, and superimposition. All right. So these are the types of augmented reality, and I'm pretty sure you don't know any about these. All right, or if you know about this, really great because it is really important to understand these. All right. So what is marker based? Oh, one more thing is that you don't need to ratify these concepts. All right. These are very simple concepts, so don't try to memorize it. Okay, it's pretty simple. You just need to understand it. It just needs your understanding. So say no to rectification. All right. So yeah, let's talk about marker based AR. All right. See, these type of AR now, all right, these type of augmented reality, you can just see it in here. All right, these type of augmented reality, all right, it needs a marker. All right, it needs some sort of marker to perform the augmentation. All right, if I had to go a bit into the terms of computer vision, then I could say it is performing some tracking and recognition and detection algorithms to do the marker based tracking. All right, but in simple terms, this type of AR needs some sort of marker. All right, and in this workshop, we'll be learning how to create marker based AR applications. We won't be learning about markerless, all right, because it's better to start with marker based as it's easy and uh, it works on 95% of the devices, but markerless requires AR core, and AR core like only works on 30 to 40% devices, not all of them. So that's the major problem. I will talk about that later on. So first, let's understand about marker-based AR. So marker-based AR is nothing. It is a type of AR that needs, or that needs a marker, some sort of marker to perform the augmentation, or needs some sort of marker to place the 3D object upon that. Like here you can see there is a marker in the center. All right, in this particular GIF you can see there's a marker at the center, and this Batman object, or like this Batman 3D model has been augmented. Alright, this Batman 3D model has been augmented on the top of that marker. Alright, so that is what marker based augmented reality is. If uh, in short, to perform marker based augmented reality needs, alright, marker based augmented reality needs marker to perform augmentation. Alright, so do you guys have any doubt regarding it? If you don't have any doubt, then we are good to go. If you have, please write it in the chats, or if you don't have, just write no. If you don't have any doubt, you can simply write no, that you don't have any doubt. Okay, so do you guys have any doubt? Okay, great. So let's continue. So now as we have cleared the concept of markerless AR, all right, let's continue with as we have cleared the concept of marker based AR, let's continue with markerless AR. All right. So all right, you know that what marker based AI does. Marker based performs the augmentation or the placement of digital object into the real world by the use of some sort of marker. All right, right. But markerless AR is the quite opposite of it. All right, markerless AR doesn't actually need any marker. All right, this type of AR doesn't actually needs any sort of marker. What it does, all right, it scans your environment. All right, it scans your environment, and let's say in this example, all right, this app is called IKEA Place. All right, this is a GIF of that app. All right, there's a small demo of that app. So just notice that the person is scanning. All right, the person is basically scanning the floor. After that, he is able to augment the 3D objects. All right, he is able to augment the 3D objects, and he's not in the need of any marker, is he? No, he is not in the need of any marker. He is simply simply putting like he's simply detecting the floor. All right, and putting the 3D model on that floor. So this is what markerless AR is. It doesn't need any sort of marker. It will scan the floor. All right, it will scan the floor and will perform the augmentation. And if I had to say which one is more better in terms of immersiveness, like marker based AR or markerless AR is far better than uh, marker based AR in providing more immersiveness. All right, means more realistic feeling. All right. Huh. So if I wait, so yeah, if I had to tell you about the SDKs, all right, that I use for the development of marker based and markerless AR. So for marker based AR, I use multiple SDKs like Vuforia. All right. I have used Wikitude. I have used Easy AR. All right. Uh, although mostly I use Vuforia because the tracking of it is much better than Easy AR and Wikitude. And if I talk about markerless AR, I mostly use AR code, but I have also worked with Lightship ARDK. It has like recently released, like I don't exactly remember the release date, but it was I guess in 8th of December 2020. So I have also used Lightship ARDK. I have used Etwal XR. Uh, I really didn't like their results, but AR Core is one of my favorite markerless AR SDK. The reason is the very first reason it is for that is it performs depth calculation. All right, what is depth calculation? Depth calculation is basically see how it helps now. Whenever I want to augment, all right, perform markerless augmentation, depth calculation is very important, because without the right depth calculation, the model won't be that good after the augmentation. All right, it won't be placed in a good way. So that's why I like AR Core more, because till now, if I come till date actually, AR Core has the best markerless AR feature than any other available in the market. So I prefer AR Core over any other, but the real problem what I face with AR Core is it doesn't work with all of the devices. whenever I develop an AR application with AR code, I had to send it to my friend, all right, to test the application out because I don't have any smartphone device supporting AR code. So that's a problem that I face, but it's pretty cool. All right. So any of you have any doubt regarding markerless AR? Okay. So any of you? If you have, you can write it in the chat. And also, I would like to wait. Oh, shit. Yeah. I would like to share the notes to you guys. All right, so that you can refer to to it later on. So okay, let's move on to what happened. Oh, I refreshed the note. Okay, wait, let's see. Okay, cool. So here comes superimposition based AR. All right, we won't be getting into very depth of it. All right, we won't be getting into the very depth of it, but I'd be telling you what actually it does. All right, you can simply see it from the diagram and guess what it's actually doing. All right, so just wait a few seconds. Okay, I'm back. So yeah, let's understand what it does. See, superimposition based AR is very simple. All right, it works on the principles of object detection. All right, if you are in machine learning or computer vision, you must know what object detection is, right? Because we detect some objects, like for an example, if we take car as an object, all right, we can create an algorithm, or let's say a program to uh, detect basically how many cars are there, all right, how many trucks are there in the road. So that's what object detection is. We are treating the cars and trucks as an object, right? Similarly, in here, in this example, you can see that the augmentation, all right, the augmentation of this bone, all right, the skeleton structure uh, is happening on this on top of its of top on top of the person's hand, right? The skeleton is basically being augmented on the top of the person's hand. All right, it's as simple as that. This is why it is called superimposition, right? We are superimposing, all right? We are superimposing an 3D or slash digital object on top of a real world object, all right? And this type of AR can be also made using Vuforia. All right, we can also consider it as marker based AR. All right, we can also consider it as markerless AR. All right, it's like in the superposition of those two things. Now, don't get into superposition; it is a quantum phenomena. But yeah, basically, uh, we are performing the augmentation of a digital object on top of another object. It is as simple as that. All right, it is as simple as that. Now, if you want to know more about this superimposition AR, just go to Google and search for superimposition AR. You will get a lot of blogs in there. All right, you will get a lot of blogs in there. Even you can get a lot of, what can I say, research papers on that. All right, like I had one research paper. It was like it was of 117 pages. It wasn't really a research paper, but it was having all the single small details of marker based AR. Like if you want to understand how this marker based AR actually works, If you read the whole book, sort of, all right, it had 170 plus pages. If you read that, you would have the very in-depth understanding of how marker-based AR works. All right. If you want, I can share that. I can share that whole research paper tomorrow. So if you want, you can read that and get a more in-depth understanding of how marker-based AR actually works. All right. It would also give you the understanding of how basically the processing is done, like how the process is going on. Like first of all, we are capturing the images, then we are process, like then it is being passed through the model. What the model is doing, the model is tracking, the model is putting the feature points, then it is performing some pose estimations and all those things. It will give you a very brief understanding of what how marker based AR works. All right. So if you want, I can share that to you by tomorrow. All right. And now, if you are clear with this topic, all right, uh, write yes. And if you have any doubt, just ask it in the comment section. All right. If you don't have any doubts, you can simply write yes, and we are good to go. Okay. Great to hear that. So, yeah. Now here comes location-based AR. All right. Uh, you might have seen some applications based on this. All right. uh, but this isn't being used that much, all right, but uh, many organizations, many big organizations are working on this technology to make it far more better. You can actually create this one by yourself. All right, how? Let me tell you. There's see first of all, let me tell you about the tools I use. I For developing an AR application, I use Unity. All right. Then for means if I had to say about SDKs, then I use Vuforia and ARCore mostly. All right. And of course, for this type of AR, you would need ARCore, that is markerless AR. All right. You can even go with any other type of AR. Let's say, means any other type of AR SDK, let's say like HWAL XR, all right, or Lightshift ARDK isn't that powerful at this time, but sure, I think it can also do this. So there's another SDK for this, for mapping things, called array, Mapbox. Yeah, I guess it was called Mapbox. You can try that out by yourself. All right, it would be a really fun and resume effective project. All right, so that's why, that's how you can, these are the SDKs that you can use to develop this. All right, but if I had to say what exactly it is, uh, this is not this, let's say some sort of Google map, you could say. All right, in here what it does is, whenever you go to some places, all right, let's say I am getting outside of my house, all right, and I want to see what is the near, what is the name, like what kind of shop is it? All right. So after getting outside of my house, there is a Starbucks, and after that there's a KFC. So I want to know. All right. Let's say I don't know what is it. I want to know that where are they, and what kind of shop it is. So this type of AR will put a tag. All right. Will put a tag on the top of the building, and give you the right direction. All right, give you the right direction to go to. So this is how location based AR could help. All right, this is how they can help. And yeah, this one is pretty helpful, but of course you might have a question that why people will like keep their phones up all the day just to find a particular location, right? We can just simply ask a person and he would tell us the direction, right? But of course, this thing will not be used as of now. But if I tell you, if I had to tell you, all right, uh, in the next 5 to 10 years, Believe me or not, but this will happen. And then in the next 5 to 10 years, you all right, the whole world will be using MR glasses. Now I know you don't know about mixed reality or MR. I would make you understand what are these, but everyone will be using AR slash MR powered glasses by the next 5 to 10 years. All right, because at that time you won't be using your phone. Like you would be like the Tony Stark of this world. All right, you would be having each and every functionality within your spectacles. And I know this might sound like a childish thing, that it isn't possible how Tony Stark things are possible. See, this is not like the arc reactor, all right. This is not like the arc reactor. This is mixed reality, all right. So it is possible. Like few years back, even I used to think that how those like digital screens appear when you like put some hand, like put some gestures, bring some voice commands. But it is possible now. How? Thanks to augmented, virtual, and mixed reality. So this is going to happen, all right. So, and currently, if I see, here's the truth. Currently, not many people are aware of this industry. All right, and I'm working on that to make people aware of this industry, because, especially in India, people don't have the idea. All right, don't have the actual idea of what is this technology, what is extended reality. All right, because a few weeks back, not exactly weeks, few months back, when I was at a startup working as an AR/VR developer, I used to do sessions for IFAT College of Engineering. I did 3 sessions, and AICTE recommended me to them. So I did a small survey. All right, I did a small survey in my locality. So what did that survey? After that survey, I got into a conclusion that people think, all right, that people think about AR VR as a toy. All right, they all either people actually don't know what AR VR is, or if people know about it, then they only know that it is used for gaming. And of course, that is not the truth, because in recent times AR VR is being used in various industries like medical, education. All right, and I would also tell you a funny story. All right, later on, but yeah, that's the thing. So try to understand the concept, all right, and try to get into the domain now, because this is the right time. Because after in 2020 only, all right, the wave has risen. All right, we got the wave of AR VR, and we are getting it. So grab this industry now, all right, or it would be really cluttered later on, because now major companies like Geo, all right, then Facebook, are working like are really working hard to make their products super powerful. And like Google was already in the market for AR VR. Apple is also coming. uh, Microsoft is also there. Facebook, Meta is also there. Geo Tesseract, they are developing their own MR headset. So currently the market is like really booming. So, and we do need developers. So try the best by yourself. All right. So I hope location based AR is clear. All right. Now let's go towards projection based AR. I know you guys. How many of you guys have heard of holograms? Just tell me about it. How many of you have heard about holograms? Great. And anyone else who have heard about holograms? Great. So now let me tell you one thing, that holograms are a part of augmented reality. Holograms are a part of markerless augmented reality. And there's another name for it, that is projection based AR. It is also known as projection based AR. Just wait for a few seconds. So yeah, see, you guys have heard about holograms, right? So you have the basic understanding that what a hologram is. So I will just clear the concepts out. So this is a hologram projector. It is projecting slash augmenting a digital object on the real world. All right, as simple as that. Projection based AR, it's just projecting through a device. It is projecting the 3D model. All right, it is projecting the 3D model in the real world. It is as simple as that. Nothing too complicated. This is what projection based AR is. Holograms are a part of augmented reality and they are also known as projection based AR. And if you guys also know that currently there hasn't been any technology, like any real technology that has been doing this stuff. Like there are some, all right, but they are not that much good in it, all right. Like innovation is being done in this, and this is a very major field of research. So if you want, after being an AR/VR developer, if you want to go to the research sector, you can consider projection based AR as one of it. All right. So yeah, this domain is really fun. You guys, after this session, you guys should explore this domain. All right, should explore this domain. So is projection based AR cleared? Is projection the concepts of projection based AR cleared? Great. So by the way, I wanted to ask, are you enjoying the session or is it boring? Great to hear that. Oh, even I am enjoying conducting this session. So yeah, now here comes outlining AR. Well, this is another form of Google Map, but in augmented reality. All right, what it does is it helps to, like, it creates a trail for you. All right, it creates a trail for you to go through. Like if I want to go to the metro station in Delhi, right? If I want to go to the metro station, I could just give the particular location at it would mark, like, mark a trail. All right, it would mark a trail for me from here to Delhi metro station. All right. Although from Ludhiana to Delhi metro station would be really, like, the trail would be really really big. All right. So yeah, this outlining AR is basically outlines the path for you. All right. There are a lot of things that are going inside this. All right. There are a lot of uh, algorithms. All right. There are a lot of algorithms working on it, and this is also a field that is being worked on. All right, like automated cars. All right, if we can also implemented this whole technology. All right, this outlining AR technology in Tesla cars. All right, we can implement this outlining AR technology in automated cars, so that we can see that which path would the car be taking to make us reach in there, right? So it can be a really good addition to automated cars. All right, and people are also working on this technology. And after you are very comfortable in developing AR applications, I recommend it as a project. All right, I recommend it to you as a project. You should try it out. All right. So yeah. So is outlining based AR clear? So if I had to explain it in short, then outlining AR is basically, all right, what it basically does, it outlines a specific path. All right, it outlines a specific path from from position A to position B. All right, so that is what outlining AR does. So is it clear? Are the concepts of AR clear? Because see, now we are going to move towards VR, all right, virtual reality, all right. So make sure that you have a grip on the concepts that I have taught you, all right. So are you clear with the concepts? All right. Are you just write it down if you are clear with it, or if you have any doubt, just ask the question. Okay. See, you want to know cybersecurity implications of AR, right? See, it every technology, all right, comes with its pros and cons, right? Similarly, AR at some point, all right, AR VR can be a bit like, you can say it might destroy, not exactly destroy, but might do some impact in privacy. All right, it would totally depend on the application. All right, like if there's 100% of your privacy, then it will only affect 1 to 2%. All right, it might. All right, so uh, as of now, I haven't found any reason that AR will be affecting our like our security. All right, but there are data breaches. All right, if your data is being saved in clouds, and there are some breaches in the cloud system. All right, if there are some breaches in the cloud system, then of course it can be harmful, but in a direct way, I don't think there would be any. Yeah, identity theft can be, but see, that can be tackled. All right, like we can generate. All right, see, currently I have been into quantum computing. All right, and I will come to that question, but let me address this first, the identity theft. See, if I had to consider identity theft, I exactly wouldn't say that in future it would be a major problem, because I have also worked with uh, quantum systems. All right, I have worked with quantum key distributions, and believe me, quantum computing is the new age. All right, where everything will be encrypted, and see, there are two type of randomness. All right, true randomness and simple randomness. Simple randomness can be guessed. All right, it is a combination that can be guessed, but true randomness. All right, simple randomness can be guessed, but true randomness can't be guessed. If you are at some point, if you guess that particular key, it will just reset. It is some sort of that. So in future, if cloud systems, all right, start implementing the encryption provided by quantum systems, it would be impossible to hack those systems. The reason is, uh, can you break the laws of physics? You can't. All right, you can't break the laws of physics. So if you can't break the laws of physics, you can't hack quantum systems, because they work on the fundamentals of physics, they work on the concepts, they work on the laws of quantum physics. To make the hack possible on the quantum systems, you need to break the laws of physics, and that isn't possible, is it? Yeah, if we think it in a different way, let's say a law is break, then we can consider it as a new journey towards physics. All right, but as of now, we can consider that we can't actually break the laws of physics. All right, then so yeah, in future, if quantum systems are used in these technologies, then of course no one can hack them. But yeah, if currently at this time, if some sort of connection is there, like the connection to the internet and the application, all right, if some sort of connection is there, then of course it can be hacked. And also identity theft is possible if there is anything being used in terms of identity, right? Like if I talk about a metaverse, anyone can be like you. Anyone can let's say with the power of AI, anyone can mimic your voice and be like you and just uh, perform his act on the name of yours in digital world. It is possible. It has been happening now. But this can be resolved if we implement quantum systems. So see, there's always a way to solve something, and I think the solution to cybersecurity, all right, the solution to hacking is quantum systems. That's what I believe. So yeah, another question here is Snapchat an example of AR? No, Snapchat is a social media application, but I haven't used Snapchat, but as far as I know, that Snapchat has AR filters. All right, Snapchat has AR filters. They are augmented reality based filters. So that is there is a part of Snapchat that is powered by augmented reality. Same goes for Instagram and Facebook. And if I had to say which tool do I use for developing AR applications for Instagram and Facebook, I use Spark AR, and for Snapchat, you can use Lens Studio. You can simply search about Lens Studio and you'll get a lot of information about that. I haven't used Lens Studio anytime, so I don't have any experience with it, but I have a good experience with Spark AR. All right. If smart glasses are used widely, sensitive and personal data would be compromised. Well, yes, it can be compromised, but it can be lowered down to. It can be like it can be resolved also. Like if it's like you are on Facebook and your data is being sold. That's the fact, right? So if you are on the internet, your data is not safe. That's the thing. So this also applies with AR and VR. So that's what it is. Now, of course, if like Facebook is bringing out something that like recently they what can I say? Array, what was that company's brand that used to create sunglasses, very premium sunglasses? Oh yeah, I remember. Ray-Ban.
Yep, yep.
So they recently just collaborated with them and created like a glass where you can create stories. All right, it had a camera. Now it's Facebook, right? It can do anything. So yeah, that's the thing. If you are on internet, all right, if you are on internet, your data will be stored. All right, you are on Facebook, you are on Instagram, you are posting your stories, you are posting your pictures. What do you think? Facebook is everything is encrypted. No, Facebook is having record to all of your data. So that's the thing. It's basically also on the companies how ethical they are, right? So yeah, if Facebook has Oculus, and by far, all right. Although I haven't used Oculus, I have developed for it, but I haven't used Oculus. But by far, it is the best VR device available in the market till now. By far, the Oculus Quest 2, or currently I guess it has been renamed to Meta Quest 2. So it is the best VR device available till now. And you know what I am afraid of Facebook is the metaverse, because when there will be the metaverse, it would be like Bapre. It would be like information chain to them. It would be a data, what can I say, a data marketplace where you can get data for free. You just need to sign up. So that's what I'm a bit scared of because it's Facebook. But other than that, privacy issues are will always be there until and unless there are some way to implement quantum systems in here. So yeah, that's a major problem that actually one should focus on. So yeah, you guys have any other doubt? uh, if you have any other doubt, you can write it down, and if you don't, just say no, I don't have any other doubt, or just write no. Okay. Okay, let's get into virtual reality. See, to understand virtual reality, it is a reality inside digital world. All right, like in augmented reality, what you were doing, you were bringing the digital objects onto the real world. Here, you are going to the digital world. You are just like teleporting yourself to the like digital world. That's what exactly VR is doing with you. So, what is happening? Let me tell you. To make you understand how what the experience of VR is, I would likely to tell you. All right, I would like to tell you that close your eyes. All right, close your eyes. Think of your favorite game. All right, think of any of your favorite game. All right, I don't play games much, but GTA 5 is one of my favorite game. All right, so just close your eyes and think you are a character of that game. All right, and you are able to do anything you want. All right, by being in person in that world. All right, how would you feel? Wouldn't that be fun? All right, wouldn't that be fun? So what I want you to do is, it's a small task. Just close your eyes for a few seconds and think of you being in some world. All right, think of yourself being in some game you like to play, and think of yourself as a character and try to do what the character is doing. It would feel real, right? It would give you a very real experience. All right, so that what VR is. It gives you a very real experience. It takes you to the virtual world. All right, it takes you to the virtual world. All right, so that's what VR is. It takes you to a virtual world. All right, or you can see it takes you to a reality that is virtual. That's why it is called virtual reality. All right. Now, how are these devices like? See, these are not written on the notes. All right, but I'm telling you. All right. See, VR. There are two types of actually VR. All right. Cave, Cave VR. All right, and HMDs. So what is CAVE? All right, CAVE is CAVE Advanced Environmental something. I exactly don't remember the full form of CAVE. Like I always forget the full form of CAVE. So what happens in there is, so let me tell you. All right. Oh yeah, I remembered. So CAVE, the full form of CAVE is CAVE Automatic Virtual Environment. All right. This is the actual full form of CAVE is CAVE Automatic Virtual Environment. Now, here's the thing. All right. If I had to show you a CAVE display, all right, CAVE VR systems. Um, wait, might find a good diagram of it to make you understand. Okay. Oh, where is it? Let's go with this diagram. Okay, cool. So here you can see that this is a person, all right. This is a person. There are some lights, all right. What happens in there? You wear some sort of headset, all right. You wear some sort of headset, and there are cameras all around you, all right. The headset has some like shutter system, all right, that helps you to take you to a virtual world, all right. There will be screens, all right, that would be projecting the world. There would be cameras to like actually what to array, how do I make it understand? Yeah, there will be cameras, all right, that there will be cameras that will be detecting, all right, that would be actually detecting your position, all right, and will be updating them on the virtual environment, all right. It has a lot of cameras that will be examining your movement. It would help you to get on the environment. And this is a very old VR system, all right. These are not used nowadays, but the first cave was like developed in 1992, so you can see what kind of system is it. So it is not used now, but uh, nowadays HMDs are used. HMDs are head mounted displays, all right. If I had to show you HMD, all right, wait. Oh, just wait, let me search for VR device, Oculus. So yeah, let's go with this picture, or this one. Yeah, that would be better. It has a much clearer view. Okay, cool. Here, just notice in here, all right. Just notice in the headset. Here you will be finding these small dot kind of things, right? These are cameras, all right. How HMDs work, right? Nowadays, HMDs are only used. Cave systems are old and is not used in any way nowadays. Like it's the ancestor of HMDs. So these are cameras, all right. These scans the environment, and then, all right, and based on the movement of the environment, all right, or based on the position of the environment, it updates your position in the real world, all right. So here in an HMD, the camera is here, all right. In an HMD, the cameras are outside the headset, and inside the headset there are screens, all right. Wait, let me try to show you the diagram of that. There are basically two screens, all right, two 4K screens in Oculus Quest 2. Like this is a Oculus Rift, right? This is basically the inside of a device called Oculus Rift, all right. But this like Oculus Quest 2 also has something like this. So it has screen, all right. It has its own processor, all right. Oculus Quest has its own processor. It has the screens to render, and these cameras are used to let's say recognize your position in the real world and then update it in the virtual world. All right. So that's how cave and VR systems work. All right. So is it clear, or do you have any doubt? No, both VR and AR totally they are totally different. They are not related to each other. All right. Although MR is related to AR, all right. MR is related to AR, but VR and AR are totally different. They don't have anything in common. What if I had to say the difference in a very short answer? See, what AR does, it brings a digital object into real world, but what VR does, it is, all right, it is teleporting you, or you can say it is taking you to the virtual world. It is not augmenting anything. It is just taking you to the virtual and putting you in there. So their difference, all right. So they are totally not same. Like it, they don't have any comparison in between them. So VR is not an extension of AR. Both are totally different. MR is, you can say MR is extension of AR, or mixed reality is the extension of AR, because they are both, actually they are both same only, but MR can do m- more things, all right, than AR. I would be telling you about that, all right, in the future, in the further lecture. But do you guys have any other doubt regarding VR? Is the concept clear about VR? See, one more thing, VR is not only used in gaming, all right. It can be used in education also, all right, and it is used in education. Like there's a app called Anatomy U, all right. It's a really famous VR education platform. It teaches I guess it teaches biology. It teaches about the human anatomy, the humans, about the human skeleton and animal skeleton. So there's education apps also available for VR. VR can also be used in medical sectors, for industrial training. So there are plenty of applications of them. So do you guys have any other doubt? Please let me know. Like currently, in medical training, what happens? I don't know about like how they are trained or anything, but as much as I've seen from movies, what happens? I have seen that they try all the medical stuffs on a dead body, right? But with VR, this thing can be changed, and they can perform that whole thing in terms of VR. But uh, sometimes real world experience is better than virtual experience, so that totally depends. So if you have any other question, please ask, and if you don't have any other question, then please say no, I don't have any other question, or just say no. Then we can move forward towards the session. Okay, great. So let me show you some examples, all right. I have only included game, all right, because most of the people love games only, and I haven't also found any GIF for Anatomy U, so that's very sad. But yeah, so I found GIFs for these. This is the first game called Beat Saber, very famous musical game uh, in VR. If you guys have a VR device, you should try this game out. All right, then this is Half-Life Alex. I guess so. This is known as Half-Life Alex, and this is. I know many of you have played PUBG. I don't like the game really. I really hate that game, but I like Call of Duty. So for me, Call of Duty. But if you have played PUBG or Call of Duty, they understand this is the battle royale game of virtual reality. All right, so it's a very famous game. It is known as Standout VR Battle Royale, I guess. Yeah, it has the name Standout, but I don't exactly remember its tagline. So this is Beat Saber, this is Half-Life Alex, and this is Standout. And if you have a VR device, do try these games out, and also Anatomy U. It is also a great educational application. All right. So yeah, let's begin. Oh, here comes mixed reality. See, mixed reality. All right, mixed reality is the big brother. All right, or let's say twin brother. All right, or small brother. Anything you can say. It's the brother. All right, it's the brother of augmented reality. All right. The thing is, mixed reality, all right, can do more than augmented reality. Let me tell you how. See, augmented reality has some limitations, all right. It is only limited to phone. It can only cover some part of the world. But mixed reality can cover a huge part of the world. Its augmentation radius is far better than augmented reality. Then it is used, if it is used in industrial training, then VR or AR headsets. It is mostly used in training. It is also used in healthcare sectors, like during operations. All right, like many hospitals in US uses this kind of devices. All right, mixed reality devices to control the sensors. All right, uh, IoT and MR has a very big part of a role to play in medical sector. How, like, let's say if I have a MR device and I had to operate this person, all right, and the monitoring devices are very, like, are far away, and I don't want to look, right. I want to do the operation. I want to focus on the operation because anything might go wrong. So what will happen? Uh, if I'm wearing the headset, all right, if I'm wearing the headset, I can simply put a command in there. All right, I can say anything, I can do anything in there, and with just one command, a panel will appear with all the details. All right, so I won't need to go anywhere. I can simply watch watch that particular. I can simply monitor the person's heart rate or anything, all right, by being in one position. So this is how it is being is medical sector. Even in industrial training it is being used. Then I it can be used in education sector, all right, but the problem with it is currently the MR devices are really, 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 really costly. Like it at Microsoft HoloLens 2 is around 2 lakh to 3 lakh, like 2 lakh to 3 lakh literally. So currently we should totally forget about its application in the field of education, because in India, especially, schools can't afford a 40,000 VR headset. All right, school actually won't. But what they can do is they can use augmented reality to teach. And the good thing is that the prices are decreasing. All right, with each update. And one of the good thing is India is manufacturing their own MR headset, like GeoGlass, Ajna Lens. They are working on their own VR and MR headsets. I had worked for GeoGlass like previously. Like I have worked on their developers program for developing an application for GeoGlass, and the experience was good, but their documentation was worst. But yeah, it's okay. And they are developing a really, really good device that can actually revolutionize the whole XR industry in India. So I'm eagerly waiting for it, and as per the rumors, I think it would cost around 10 to 20,000, and it is far less than Microsoft's HoloLens 2. So yeah, devices prices are decreasing, and let me show you Microsoft HoloLens 2. Microsoft HoloLens. And do you know you can actually create uh, something like Iron Man's HUD. Already, you can actually create something like Iron Man's HUD with MR, just like Iron Man used to do in the movies, like this. See, like this, something like this. It has hand tracking. It can track your hands. It can track your hand movements and then perform some tasks. So mixed reality is more powerful. All right, it has more features than augmented reality, but the principle of both of them are augmenting digital objects into real world. All right. So, are there any other any doubt about mixed reality? All right. Is there any other doubt? So, if you have any doubt, please write it down. I'd be really happy to address that. And if you don't have any, then just write no. I don't have any other doubt, and then we can proceed further. Because after this there's oh, okay, I forgot to tell you about this diagram, right. So first of all, did you understand the concept of mixed reality? Are you clear with that? Because before understanding this diagram, it is really important for you to understand the concept of mixed reality. This diagram is also known as mixed reality spectrum, or uh, reality virtuality continuum, or continuum. So are the concepts clear? Okay. great. So, okay, see, this is a mixed reality spectrum. According to this diagram, this is the augmented reality, that is augmenting digital objects into the real world. This is virtual reality, that is the whole digital world. All right. After it gets combined, it creates something called reality slash virtuality. It's reality dash virtuality continuum or mixed reality spectrum. All right. It is a combination. Mixed reality is a combination of AR and VR. All right. You can even create virtual worlds. You can even create virtual worlds uh, in mixed reality with mixed reality. All right. So that is what mixed reality states. All right. That is what mixed reality continuum states. Now, if I let me show you mixed reality. Um, what was that? Microsoft. Not this one. Not this one. Microsoft Mesh is a different thing. All right. Let me show you this one only. Let me share the link to you. All right. Just watch this one. It would give you a clear idea of how exactly mixed reality looks. All right, like how exactly the experience would be. All right, in my system, it's taking a bit of time, maybe because of my internet connection. But let's give it its time.
Connection is a spark that gives our lives meaning.
Just watch this. All right.
Different lives who share our views, yet offer different perspectives.
Microsoft has recently like released this Microsoft Mesh. All right. Okay. Let me increase the quality. Maybe it's not that clear. Can you see it? Like, it's really cool, right? There's a virtual person available right beside you. That's yeah. Was someone saying anything? I thought someone is saying something. Anyone? Let me show you another one. I will share this with you too. Just watch this. All right. Let me skip it to the main part. Just see. Okay, from here. Here you can see.
Sure thing. Just let me check out this bunker real quick. It's beautiful. Set some time. Just awesome. You must look at the set.
can draw inspiration from the cloud in 3 dimensions and all around you.
Some inspiration, please.
These bots help them interface with businesses. This one helps them find amazing 3D assets. Kai uses a pen and Samir uses a specialized controller in order for them both to manipulate and design the 3D creation. The team forgets that they are not together physically as they continue collaborating on the design. Penny picks up the eyedropper to grab a color from the physical ceiling in order to make things feel more anchored. Through the conversational bot, we see a real-time translation of what Penny's client is saying.
So isn't it amazing? Like you can do these things with mixed reality, like virtual and augment combined. So mixed reality is far better, gives far better experience than augmented reality and virtual reality. So isn't it amazing? You can collaborate with person, you can bring a person, another person virtually. So this is what, like, this is what mixed reality does. All right, it is very much. See, I didn't get into this domain because it was interesting. It was more fascinating. It was like I could do a lot of research in there. Like I can bring my imaginations to reality. That's why I like this domain. I consider this domain as my primary goal over any other domain, because if you do Android development, you will do web development and become good at it, you can get any job at any company. All right, but mixed reality. All right, I'm not telling Android and web are bad. They are really great domains. Even I'm in those domains, but with the help of augmented and virtual reality and mixed reality, I can bring my imagination. All right, I can bring my imagination into real world. So that's why I like this domain very much, and I'm sure that you would like this too. All right, so what MR device do I use and would recommend for someone new to the field to get the most of it without spending too much? All right, so see, I don't use any MR device. The only MR device I have used till now is GeoGlass. All right, means that to a test version of it, like it was not the real GeoGlass, but it was a test version of it. So that's the only uh, MR device I have used till now. But I would suggest you to wait for a like for a few months. All right, and I hope that GeoGlass gets released this month only. All right, so then you would be able to buy it, because according to my calculations, according to my estimations, I guess it would be around 10 to 20,000, like cheaper than Microsoft HoloLens 2. Currently, the main problem we face with this field is the availability of devices. Like the devices are very costly, all right, but this problem is being solved day by day, especially in India. Like if I had to tell you, in USA, Oculus Quest 2 costs only around 20,000. All right, my laptop is around 29,000, and the VR device costs real like uh, 7 to 7,000 less than my laptop. So, but when it comes to India, the taxes, GSTs, and all those things get attached to it, the import costs, and because of that, you have to buy the devices like in the range of 30 to 40,000, or even sometimes 50,000, and also without any like servicing warranty, because in India uh, there are no service centers available for Oculus Quest. Same goes for HoloLens. So that's a major problem we are facing. And I guess that soon this problem will be solved as the industry in India grows, and I hope that very soon. All right, I hope that very soon, uh, Microsoft, then Facebook also launches their manufacturing plant in India, and that would like really cut the cost down of the devices. Like then it we will be having the devices at exact price. So that's a good thing, and I guess yeah, soon this problem will be solved. But currently, if you have the money, you can go. If you have the money, I would suggest you to go for if you want to experience MR, want to develop for MR, go for HoloLens 2. And if you want to develop for VR, close your eyes, don't look into any other devices, just go for Oculus Quest 2. And when GeoGlass releases, you can buy it and test it out by yourself. So yeah, that's the thing. So yeah, now this is the last section of our this is the last section of our lecture today, and after that I would be conducting a Q&A sessions, and if you can ask any of your doubts. All right. So this section is about extended reality market size. All right. See, here it is told extended reality market size is to reach about 393 billion US dollars by 2025, and growth rate. All right. The growth rate of this domain is by 69.4%. This basically report was generated by Mark Market Research Future, and this particular this particular graph seems pretty amazing. But let me give you a disclaimer. All right, these graphs, all right, are totally based on situations. All right, these are predictions, so they can also maybe uh, maybe in future by 2025 you might get a growth in education far more than gaming. So this might change, but this is a estimated one. All right, there are many new estimations that are made. All right, you can go and search for the internet, but according to this estimations, uh, by 2025 gaming will be at the peak, entertainment and media would be at the peak, aerospace and defense would means the training of it, of course. So they would be they will be having a growth. Then in the healthcare sector it would be used, then in education sector it won't be used, like really less. But let me tell you that like augmented reality has been uh, is being used actually in the field of education. Because let me how am I claiming it, let me tell you. uh, when I used to work at a startup, all right, there we worked at a AR book, all right, an augmented reality book called Alphabet Jingles, all right. So in that augmented reality book, we reached to many schools, all right. Some schools thought that it would be it's a bachkana thing, it's just a toy. Students won't be learning anything. That traditional mindset of the schools, all right. And because of that, I hate my school too. But Mm, there was a school in Bihar, all right, that actually understood the technology. Even there are some schools in India that actually that are understanding this technology, all right. Mainly from Bihar, schools from Bihar are understanding this technology. Like many people think that Bihar has a very bad literacy rate, but they are the like they are very good at education, and they actually understood that how this technology could help the students, and they actually uh, became one of our buyers. All right, they actually became one of our buyers. And so yeah, even now if I have to tell you, all right, recently from my school, all right, recently from my school I got a book. All right, there's a funny thing. I got a book to review from my school only. All right, it was a book by Kips Publisher. All right, I think you might have heard of Kips Publisher. It was a computer science book. All right, and I was excited to review that book because it claimed that it had AR, and I was very much excited. All right, like my excitement was at infinity level, you could say. I got home with the book from my school. Then I tried. I followed the instructions. I downloaded the app. I scanned the page. All right. And do you know what I see? Nothing AR. It. I scanned a particular page. All right. I scanned a particular page, and it opened a new section in the app. Like nothing new. Like it didn't had a single element of AR. I was like angry. Like I was like, how the hell are they doing this kind of stuff? Like how their developers actually uh, develop this kind of thing? Because of course it's not AR. They at least they should have like opposed it, right? Because it is not AR. All right. It of course is not AR. Like they are claiming it to be AR, although it is not AR. Previously, what books, the books, what had na, they had the QR codes. All right, they had QR codes, and by scanning that QR code, you will get access to some pages. All right, you will get access to the pages available in the app. Right, you will get access to the content available in the app. The same thing is happening here. Just now, the page is being scanned, but other than the QR. So that's what have changed. So it not didn't had anything about AR. So uh, it's really important to educate even the developers, actually, even the big uh, like big players in publications also, to teach them about AR, because they clearly don't know about AR. Like especially kids, they don't know anything about AR, and I understood that after using their AR app. So that's what I'm saying, that it's really important for everyone to understand. So what I want you guys, all right, I want you guys to share this knowledge. All right, I want you guys to share this knowledge you got today, all right, to every other person you know, all right, because it is very important to educate India in terms of AR VR, and I want you guys to do that. All right, so just take some of your time and educate them that what actually AR VR is, right? Because currently in India it is the major problem. People like, if uh, in a way, the thing that KIPS did is a bad education only. Like they are giving education, but they are giving a bad education. Bad education in the sense they are teaching the kids that what actually, like what is AR, but they itself don't know what is AR and developed a stupid thing that is actually not AR. So it is really important to give the right education. All right. So this much for today. All right. That's it for today. And so let's have the doubt session. I have my exams for from 4 o'clock. So let me know that if you have any doubt, and let me share the let me give you my social. So if you have any doubt, you can contact me in there. All right. So lecture. Okay, guys. So here I have shared some links. All right. This is the lecture note. All right. I have shared you my LinkedIn. So if you want to contact me after the session, if you have any doubt, you can contact me there. All right. Then I have also shared my YouTube channel. All right. Soon I'll be releasing one of my courses on augmented reality. It would be end-to-end augmented reality course that will help you become an AR developer. All right, from the very scratch. Then also, after a few months, I will be launching a full end-to-end. AR development course that is both markerless and marker based, along with the concepts, like the very in depth concepts, at my startup Anton. So you can register in that course too. And here's another question: what about Google Cardboard? And also, yeah, do subscribe my channel because soon the course will be out. So yeah, what about Google Cardboard? It's the same or similar domain. Yeah, Google Cardboard is also VR, but it is rarely used now. Like if you want to start with VR, you can start with that, but it's rarely used. Like no one uses Google Cardboard nowadays. Like it's the old one. Like just like there was Leap Motion controller, I guess Google had. Oh, sorry, Daydream controller. Yeah, Daydream controller for the I think Google Cardboard only. Now all that stopped. Oh no, Daydream was a totally different one. But yeah, they stopped it. Oh, it is showing dreaming in the day. So yeah, this is how it looked. That a really cool design. I don't know why Google actually stopped making it, but yeah, they shouldn't have. It was a successor to Google Cardboard, but Cardboard is also not used nowadays, and Google is very bad to stop Google Daydream. That's what they do. So this is the Google Cardboard. All right, same technology, but Daydream has far more features. Like you can do all the what can happen. Like you can with a Google Cardboard, you can't really move, right? You don't have any sort of controls in it. It's just like happens like it uses your phone's gyroscope sensor, and then it uses your phone's gyroscope sensor, and basically what happens after that? Nothing else. And you just had to it just rotates your head in the environment, nothing else. That's what Google Cardboard does, and also not is not used anymore nowadays. So any other questions? If you have any, do let me know. All right, if you have any other questions, do let me know, because it's really important for you to understand before moving to the next section. Anyone have any other doubts, guys? Do you have any other doubts? Yeah, you can also unmute yourself if you want to ask your doubts in live. I don't have any problem with that. So yeah, guys, unmute yourself. Don't be like I like don't just keep quiet. Like previously, I used to I taught PhD professors at colleges, like who had PhDs, who had masters, and they were like they didn't even talk throughout the session. So don't be so much silent. If you have any doubt, ask the question. By the way, let me ask you a question. How was today's session? Did you find it interesting? Did it bring a curiosity in you to learn more about this technology? Just wait a few seconds. I have to mark my attendance in the exam. Yeah, done. So yeah, okay, that's really great. So I also hope that you liked today's session. All right, and just tell me how is there how can I improve more? Like you found anything disturbing, or you found something bad? You can tell that to me frankly, because I always welcome creative criticism, because that what helps me improve, right? So if you have any suggestions, do let me know. You can uh, write it down now. You can let me know in the on LinkedIn. I won't tell anything. Don't worry, I'm not strict. I'm just a student like you. I am also a developer. So it's very important for you to understand the concepts. So do you guys have any other doubt? Just let me know. Or if you don't have any other doubt, you can write no, I don't have any other doubt. Great, thanks. By the way, do you know you can make a project, all right? You can make an AR app which can control your with combining IoT, all right? At Anton also we are starting to work on something like that, all right? We are currently focusing on medical sector, all right? It can help in medical sector, and at my startup we are also um, working on that, and working on something related to that, all right? And currently we are also like getting into IoT because it needs IoT. So you can also try, if you have any experience with IoT, you can also try combining AR/VR with IoT. You would find it really fun to work with.
So I think there are no more doubts. Let's conclude the session.
All right, sure.
I will request everyone to start their camera so that we can take a quick screenshot of it.
Yeah, guys, start your camera.
I think the audience seems to be shy.
Yeah, it seems like that.
Anyway, it was a wonderful session. Uh, we will continue it tomorrow.
Great. So let me tell you that what we are going to do tomorrow. So tomorrow we'll be learning about a tool called Unity, all right, and we'll also be exploring um, SDK called Vuforia, all right, and we'll be developing our very first AR application, all right. And believe me, you won't need to code anything for your first AR application. It's pretty much easy. All right. So yeah. So bye guys. I need to leave. All right. So thank you. I hope you liked the session.
Yes, we
Bye, guys.
enjoyed the session thoroughly and hope to see you tomorrow. And all the best with your exam.
Thank you.
So I will end the meeting now.